Every single one of us who have ever lived is the recipient of someone else's leadership. You and I are no different. For me, I guess a leader I looked up to was John Wesley. Now, that could be the pat answer because he was the founder of the Methodist Church, and I am a Methodist pastor, so that may seem quite the appropriate response. But see, I didn't know anything about John Wesley until well into my ministry years. And the more I studied him, the more I really began to admire him. Because you see, he was a man very small in stature, 5'2", 5'3", 130 pounds, maybe soaking wet. He was not booming in voice, so he didn't have the Hollywood looks of a dynamic, handsome hunk. But with all of that, he still had this way of leading people. For one thing, he was amazingly organized. He was the hardest worker in the room. He was always encouraging people to grow. He was immensely educated and constantly was a reader and learner of the faith. He was a great builder of teams. And in the midst of doing all those things, that alone could say, wow, yeah, a pretty neat life and leadership. But you see, I think for me, the most encouraging thing of his leadership was the fact that in his life, he loved people so much that he gave an estimated 98% of that which he owned to other people in need. But the final element that is so admirable about Wesley was that Wesley understood it wasn't about him. He didn't mean to start a denomination. He didn't mean to be the leader of a church. He was just trying to follow Jesus. And why? Because see, while Wesley may have given 98% of what he owned in his meager possessions, Jesus, the most powerful man in human history, gave 100% of what he had for the love of people. And then he even gave his life for you and I. And then he rose from the dead and said, we too can have a life beyond this world. So while I admire John Wesley, and I'm glad I'm a part of the Methodist family, it's still all about Jesus. Always has been, always will be. And the great question for us is, how will we be leaders in following Jesus?